You know that feeling, right? When your to-do list is just massive. You're putting in the hours, but you're just not seeing the progress you expect.
Oh, absolutely. Like you're busy all the time, but somehow just treading water.
Exactly. So today, we're going to do a deep dive into something that tackles exactly that, the 80-20 principle. It's based on Richard Koch's work.
Ah, yes. The Pareto principle applied more broadly.
Right. And the core idea is pretty simple, but powerful. Roughly 80% of your results tend to come from just 20% of your efforts.
It sounds like a shortcut, but it's really about effectiveness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Less overwhelm, more impact.
Precisely. And it can be a real unlock. To make this concrete, let's imagine someone, let's call him Jeevan.
Okay.
So Jeevan's like your typical busy professional, long days, trying to fit everything in, but feeling like he's on a treadmill going faster and faster.
Getting busier, but the workload just keeps piling up anyway. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Totally. And then he comes across this 80-20 principle. And that core concept, that focus, is maybe the key. It really hits home for him, stuck in this, endless race.
It's a compelling idea because it challenges that more effort equals more results assumption we often carry.
It really does. It suggests there might be a smarter way, not just a harder way.
And that feeling Jeevan had, spending lots of energy without seeing a proportional return, that's often the trigger, the first sign this principle might be useful.
Yeah, it taps into that need to feel like what we're doing actually matters, that it's moving the needle.
Definitely.
So as Jeevan digs into this, a particular phrase really jumps out at him. Focus on the few things that matter most.
Mm-hmm. Simple but profound.
It made him realize he was spreading himself so thin, dabbling here, putting out fires there.
Right.
Maybe not really nailing the crucial stuff.
It forces you to pause and actually evaluate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than just running on autopilot through your day.
Right. To ask, what are the vital few things here?
Shifting from just quantity of activity to the quality of the outcome.
So Jeevan decides to actually track his time, like really track it.
Get some data on it.
Yeah. For a whole week, he writes down everything, those endless meetings, every single email he answers the second it hits his inbox, even the mindless scrolling time.
Oh, wow.
And
Takes discipline.
It does. But seeing it all laid out, that was the aha moment. He saw just how much of his day was filled with, stuff that didn't seem connected to his main goals.
It makes the invisible visible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We often have no real idea where the hours go until we track them. That low-value time adds up fast.
So true. So armed with this data, he tries an experiment just for 1 week.
Okay, what did he do?
He decides to focus only on what he identified as his top 20% activities, the things he believed delivered the biggest bang for the buck. And he actively tried to minimize or just skip the other 80%.
That sounds scary initially, maybe. Letting go of 80%.
Probably. But he started small, declining meetings without clear agendas or where he wasn't really needed.
Okay, makes sense.
Batching email responses instead of constant interruption. And he said it was surprising.
How much time opened up?
Exactly. Suddenly, he had these blocks of time to actually focus on the critical projects.
And that feeling of reclaiming your time, that's powerful, immediate feedback. It tells you you're onto something, like finding hidden hours.
Yeah. And the results weren't just about having more time. He found he was actually completing those key tasks faster and, better.
Higher quality work because of the focus.
Right. His productivity on the important stuff shot up. He saw real improvements in his work outcomes. And interestingly, he felt more satisfied.
That makes sense. Working on things that matter feels good.
He even noticed his colleagues seemed to sort of respect his contributions more, maybe because he was delivering more impact in those key areas.
Yeah, they see the results, not just the busyness. It's a shift in perception, too.
But then he realized it wasn't just about focusing more. The next step was about actively eliminating.
Ah, the simplify your life part. Getting rid of the non-essential.
Exactly. This goes beyond just prioritizing. It's about decluttering your life, not just your desk.
So not just doing more of the 20%, but actively ditching the unproductive 80%.
Right. He started thinking about, believe it or not, relationships.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
How did that work?
He realized some connections just consistently left him feeling drained, negative maybe.
Yeah, we all have those energy vampires sometimes.
He'd felt this obligation to maintain them, but applying the 80-20 lens, he questioned if that energy was worth it. So he started gently creating a bit more distance.
Focusing his social energy on the positive, supportive relationships. That takes courage.
It does, but he felt it was necessary. Then he tackled the physical stuff, his home.
The clutter.
Oh yeah, stacks of books he'd never read, broken things he meant to fix, clothes ignored for years. He asked, does this stuff actually add value?
And the answer was likely?
No. Pretty much. So, big decluttering spree, got rid of tons of stuff. And he said the feeling afterwards was amazing, lighter, mentally clearer.
That link between physical and mental clutter is so real. Cleaning your space often cleans your head too.
Then he took that same mindset back to the office, looked for more things to cut.
Like what? More meetings?
Yeah, attending every invite just because it landed in his inbox, responding to emails instantly as a default. He realized he needed to get good at saying no.
Politely but firmly. Protecting that focus time.
Exactly. So fewer non-essential meetings, specific times for email, and it worked. More focus, better output. His boss even commented positively on his focus on key projects.
See, saying no to the small things allows you to say yes to the big things. It's a crucial skill.
And you know what else happened? With the time he freed up,
What's that?
he rediscovered painting. A hobby he loved but hadn't touched in years because he was always too busy.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's the other side of it, making space for joy, not just productivity.
Yeah, it brought him genuine happiness, a way to de-stress.
That's vital. Eliminating the non-essential isn't just about work efficiency. It's about creating space for a richer life overall.
So seeing this work in different areas got him thinking, okay, where else can I apply this? Not just work, not just clutter.
Taking the principle broader into all areas of life.
Right, like relationships again, but this time focusing positively, consciously investing more quality time with close friends and family.
Nurturing the vital few connections.
And he said he felt those bonds deepen, became closer.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's about intentionality in relationships too.
Then health. Instead of chasing every fad diet or crazy workout,
He applied the 80-20. How?
focused on a couple of things he actually enjoyed and could stick with, like maybe yoga and meditation. A simple, consistent routine.
Sustainable, not overwhelming.
And for diet, he aimed for like 80% healthy foods, but allowed himself that 20% for treats. No guilt.
The 80-20 rule for eating, it's practical. Avoids that all-or-nothing burnout.
And he found he had more energy, felt fitter, without it feeling like this huge restrictive chore.
Because he identified that 20% of habits consistency, mostly healthy food, that gave 80% of the health benefits for him.
Makes sense. Same with hobbies. Instead of dabbling everywhere, he doubled down on reading and painting, the ones that gave him real satisfaction.
Quality over quantity again. Deeper engagement.
And learning, too. Instead of trying to learn, 5 new things at once.
Which usually means learning none of them very well.
Right. He picked 1 or 2 key skills, communication, time management maybe, that would really boost his growth. More focus, more confidence.
Targeted learning, much more effective.
He even looked at his environment, his actual desk, his home office, removing distractions, just trying to optimize everything for focus on what mattered.
It's about being incredibly intentional across the board, using the principle as a filter for decisions.
Then came the next layer, leverage. How to get more from that vital 20%.
Use leverage to achieve more with less. So amplifying the impact of those high-value activities.
Exactly. The book talked about 2 main ways, improving how you work and delegating.
Okay, so making the 20% even more efficient.
Yeah. Jeevan looked for repetitive tasks he could automate, using software for email filtering, setting up better systems for data entry, file management, stuff like that.
Using technology as leverage. Smart.
He was surprised how much time even small automations saved. And then delegation, he got an assistant for routine reports, data handling.
Freeing himself up for the core strategic work that only he could do.
Right. He also made a point of making meetings he did attend shorter, much more focused, less wasted time for everyone.
Good examples of leverage at work. Automation, delegation, process improvement.
But he didn't stop at work. He applied leverage to his personal life, too.
How so?
Simple things, really. Online grocery delivery, automatic bill pay, getting help with house cleaning occasionally.
Trading money for time, essentially, on tasks that aren't in his high-value 20%.
Exactly. Recognizing his time was better spent elsewhere, whether on work, family, or those hobbies he'd rediscovered. He used fitness apps to structure workouts, even used audiobooks and summaries to learn more efficiently while commuting. Finding smarter ways to do the necessary but maybe lower-value personal tasks reduces the mental load, too.
Totally. And the overall outcome for Jeevan, life just felt simpler. More organized, sure, but also just more productive in a meaningful way.
Not about cramming more in, but about achieving more of what matters with less friction, a greater sense of control.
But, and this is important, the book stressed this isn't a one-time fix.
Ah, right. It's not static. Life changes.
Exactly. Priorities shift, circumstances change. So the final piece was constantly analyze and adjust for optimal efficiency.
The continuous improvement loop, because your 20% won't stay the same forever.
So Jeevan made it a habit, monthly reflection, looking back at where his time and energy actually went and what results came from it.
Asking those tough questions.
Yeah.
Is this project still worth the huge time investment? Is this fitness routine still effective for my current goals?
Right. Are my career goals the same? Are my interests shifting? He'd identify things that were maybe taking up too much time for too little return. That regular self-assessment is key to staying aligned and not just falling back into old, inefficient habits.
He also did quick weekly check-ins, just to consciously decide where to focus his energy for the week ahead. Small adjustments based on the analysis.
Incremental changes, much easier to sustain than massive overhauls.
And he really internalized that the important 20% can evolve. Even relationships change in importance or goals shift. You have to be adaptable.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic framework, not a rigid rule. Needs that awareness and willingness to pivot.
So ultimately, Jeevan saw the real power wasn't just finding the 20% once. It was this ongoing discipline of analyzing, adjusting, constantly refining where he put his focus.
Precisely. It's that continuous refinement, that commitment to optimization that ensures you stay focused on what delivers the most value and fulfillment over time.
So wrapping this up for everyone listening, the 80-20 principle, it's a really potent framework. It helps you zero in on that critical 20% driving most of your results.
And it encourages you to consciously prioritize that while strategically letting go of the rest, the less impactful 80%.
And as we saw with Jeevan's journey, applying it can genuinely lead to those aha moments, making life feel less overwhelming and way more effective.
It's about regaining that sense of control, being intentional instead of just reactive, focusing your finite energy where it truly counts.
So here's something to maybe chew on after this deep dive. Take a moment and think, what is the 20% of your effort right now that's driving 80% of your results? Your success, however you define it.
And then ask yourself, what could happen if you consciously leaned into that 20% even more, really amplified it?
And maybe, just maybe, started letting go of some of the rest. Definitely something to consider.
It's a little different.
Oh.
Yeah. Instead of looking at a bunch of different sources and articles and videos today, we're just going to take one single piece of content and really dig into it.
Okay, I like it.
We're calling this deep dive, Page to Power.
Catchy.
Right. So yeah, it's actually the closing remarks, the very end of this video.
Oh, outro.
Yeah, exactly. The outro of a video all about turning knowledge into action.
I feel like that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, big time.
You read a book or you listen to a podcast and you're like, oh, that's so smart. But then what do you do?
Totally. And this video is all about that.
Yeah.
But we're just going to focus on those final words of wisdom,
I'm intrigued.
Okay, so here's how it ends. It says, if you found value in today's insights, be sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and hit that subscribe button to turn every page into power.
The classic call to action.
It is, yeah, you see this everywhere online, right?
Right.
But it's the way it's phrased here that I think is really interesting.
Yeah, connecting that engagement, the liking, sharing, subscribing to the idea of actually empowering yourself with the knowledge.
Right. It's not just about getting more views for the video. It's they're saying if you really got something out of this, then spread it around.
Yeah.
Help other people turn every page into power too.
The more people who have the knowledge, the more potential power there is out there.
Exactly. It becomes this collective thing.
I like that.
Okay. But then it gets even better because right after that it says, remember, knowledge is only potential power. Action makes it real.
Ooh, that's good.
Right. It's like a punch in the gut, but in a good way.
It is, yeah.
It's so simple, but it's so true.
All that information we gather, all those books we read, it's useless unless we actually do something with it.
It's like having a sports car just sitting in your garage,
Or a library full of cookbooks that you never cook from.
Exactly. Potential
Yes.
energy just waiting to be unleashed.
And the key is in taking that knowledge and applying it to your life.
So then the video ends with this. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and turn the page to your next breakthrough.
There's this sense of continuation, right?
It's not over.
Learning isn't a destination, it's a journey.
Yeah, and that turn the page to your next breakthrough. I love that.
Each time you learn something new and then you act on it, that's a page turned.
You're ready for the next chapter.
The next level up.
And it makes you think, what is a breakthrough anyway? Is it like a big, huge accomplishment? Or could it be something small?
Maybe it's just a moment of clarity or understanding something in a new way.
Or finally, mastering that skill you've been working on.
Exactly.
But then they bring it all back around at the very end. Keep learning, keep growing, and turn the page.
Full circle.
Yeah, it all comes back to that idea of turning the page right.
Mm-hmm.
From taking in knowledge to sharing it with others and then on to the next breakthrough.
It's like this beautiful cycle of learning and action and growth.
And they pack all of that into like, what, 3 sentences?
That's pretty impressive.
So I think what we can take away from this is that learning is important.
Mm.
Yeah. But it's just the first step.
It's that first domino.
The real magic happens when you take that knowledge and you do something with it.
When you turn the page.
Exactly.